Hello and welcome to the podcast. I'm Ashwin. This is Vijendra Mohanty, and today we have with us Rahil Mohsin, who's a lover of cats and hater of dogs. Uh,
अरे नहीं.
you've
Okay, go.
made a comic on
Sorry.
that, but yeah, you interview comic book people generally, and you're also primarily a comic book artist. So I first heard about Rahil when he was working on I can't remember the name of the book, Sufi Comics, I think.
हाँ
I
हाँ.
think you did
Yeah.
two or three comics for those guys also.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I did.
So you basically worked on that, and after that, I directly heard of you as an independent creator who's putting out stuff like you did. I think you did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang
Yeah. Kiss
or
Kiss Blam
some.
Blam. Yeah.
Correct. You did Kiss
Yeah.
Kiss that whatever, and you
Kiss Kiss
did
Blam Blam.
why. Then I think
Ashwin
you did
forgets
Cat.
names like left, right, and center. The other
But
day,
I
I keep
remember
expecting
names.
one day we will do an episode on Star Wars and he'll call it Sholay.
I don't think I'll call it Sholay, of all things.
You'll
I
probably
might
call
call
it
it
Sholay
Star
or
Trek,
something.
but it's yeah. Anyway, coming back to Rahil, he's transitioned to someone like the only stuff I know you are putting out is stuff for kids. You know, you do a lot of kids comics, and it's very like your art, right? It's very catchy. It's very absorbing.
Thank
It's
you.
something that draws you in immediately, right? It grabs your attention and pulls you in. That's what I know you from.
Thanks, man. That's really sweet.
Okay.
पानी में किसी ने शक्कर डाल दिया मेरे. Anyway.
Yeah.
Ashwin
So
doesn't
that
frequent. Ashwin doesn't often get accused of being sweet, so this must be genuine.
Hmm.
yeah, I don't. Anyway, Rahul, I know some of the stuff you do. Like I know you're a comic book artist. I know you, you know, dabble in comic book stuff. I know you live in Bangalore, and that's about the extent of all I know about you. So why don't you tell us a little about yourself? Like basically whatever you want people to know and stuff
अच्छा.
like that.
So I'm Rahil Mohsin. I was born and brought up in Bangalore, and I've always been in the city. And I grew up on comics. Like from the age of 5, I've been reading comics. I mean, not exactly reading, but admiring comics and everything. My dad actually taught me how to read a comic. मेरे पास जातका टेल्स की एक कॉपी थी अमर चित्र कथा की, and we were just like in our native village, which is a Konkan town called Manki. And yeah, that's where he just saw me admiring the pages, and then he's actually sat me down and taught me how to read a comic. And most of my fond memories have been around comics. Every time my dad used to come down to visit us in Bangalore, he works abroad, so we used to go to Church Street almost like every weekend. So for the duration of whenever he used to visit us, we used to go to Church Street during the weekend, and then Gangaram's here, and we used to just buy comics. Apart from that, I have a lot of like a close knit family. जहाँ पे मेरे aunties and uncles are like 5 years, 6 years older to me, and they were in their teens when I was like just a kid. So they also like kind of encouraged that comic book reading, comic book collecting and all those things. तो वहाँ यहाँ पे culture बहुत अच्छा था comics का. तो हर bus stop पे, I mean, of course, I mean, it must have been everywhere else, but Bangalore is just where I was born and raised.
I
तो
don't think Bombay में उतना comics था. I think you just had comics in Bangalore. I mean, we had few
अच्छा अभी
comics, but उतना नहीं था.
यहाँ पे mostly bus stop के पास we used to get these bound copies of really old इंद्रजाल comics and DC and Marvel का जो भी मिलता था. Mostly it was mostly DC.
Okay.
तो हाँ,
Yeah, I think
Phantom and Mandrake के बहुत सारे थे. हाँ,
correct.
I
so
think
that's what I kind of grew up on.
यहाँ
हाँ.
भी मतलब इंडिया में इफ आई रिमेम्बर करेक्टली अमर चित्र कथा का जो इम्पैक्ट था वो मुंबई वगैरह में ज़्यादा था, एंड इन नॉर्थ इंडिया एंड इवन वेयर आई ग्रू अप व्हिच इज नॉट नॉर्थ इंडिया, Hindi comics like Nagraj, Super Commando Dhruv, etc. These were quite popular. Bangalore ka I didn't know. Like the bound copies so my growing up was not in any city, but the bound copies I do recognize from the local library, the DC
Hmm.
Phantom Mandrake stuff and the Superman Batman stuff. Yeah.
Bound copies,
Hmm.
I don't think I saw it anywhere outside my house. Like my mom used to stick comics together, and then that's how I got bound copies. But I don't remember
Oh,
seeing comics outside anywhere.
Hmm.
I have a few. The next time you come to Bangalore, I'll show them to you.
Sure.
Actually, अभी भी दिखा सकता हूँ.
Oh wow.
You actually have those still
Yeah,
in.
yeah, I do.
These would be so useful in schools, man.
Yeah,
Like just put brown paper covers on them and then read comics all day. We used to do that. We used to do that.
yeah. I had taken this to school many times before. So, huh.
Looks
How
like it.
old are you, Rahil?
33. I'm gonna turn 33 in a couple of months.
Wow,
Yeah.
nice. That's quite a long time actually for you to keep a book like from school to now. That's quite
अरे
admirable.
मेरे बचपन के वो एक्शन फिगर्स भी अभी तक हैं. तो I've
Yeah.
always been that kind of a kid who values nostalgia more.
Are we
Nice.
seeing those action figures in the back over there in the
The
shelf?
Ryuk that you have
Yeah,
behind,
these are, yeah,
Huh.
yeah,
I
these
have
are a few.
I have
Okay.
that
Huh?
as well.
Oh,
I
hey,
have
same pinch.
I have a like whatever toys you're seeing in my background were all bought when I was an adult.
I'm assuming you also bought Ryuk as an adult. I don't know about the other toys. I don't recognize
Oh
any of
yeah,
them, but
Ryuk was gifted to me by my wife. Like, वो शादी का first anniversary gift था.
Oh wow.
oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Oh,
Huh.
anyway, ये books दिखाना चाहता था मैं.
Huh,
Like
correct.
this is one on, and ये Lois Lane की कुछ story. I mean, I can't see ये Superboy है. Like anyway, these comics are like really old. ये 1960s,
Hmm.
70s की इंद्रजाल comics है, Garth,
Yeah,
The
and
tormenting specter.
have you read it?
No, even if I had, I would have not remembered the names.
forgotten.
Yeah, this is Amar
Oh,
Chitragatha.
हाँ,
Hmm.
हाँ, इंद्रजाल comics का है ये. Bharat Bahubali, and then you have lots of Phantom stories,
Phantom, etc. Yeah.
Bahadur
Bahadur.
and stuff.
By the way, somebody is remaking the Phantom comics, like something called Shakti Comics in India. They're bringing out new Phantom issues.
Shakti
Oh.
Comics is, I think, from what I understand, they're just taking those comic strips, putting them all together, one below the other, and putting it as a comic.
I
From
I
what I
I,
understand,
I don't remember exactly, but I think they may be actually creating some new ones also. I don't know how
is
that is
it
possible.
Phantom Ka?
Yeah,
That's strange.
I could be wrong.
Hmm.
I could be wrong.
Huh. I think they're making their own stuff. I don't think they're making Phantom comics as such.
So I saw a Shakti Comics issue, which was a Phantom comic, and it's the writer's name. It was not Lee Falk.
Okay.
So,
So
Hmm.
Rahil,
but yeah,
तो
what's
पब्लिक
your
डोमेन में चला गया क्या फैंटम?
नहीं, I don't think
नहीं
so.
ना.
अभी तो नहीं गया होगा, इतनी जल्दी नहीं गया होगा. बट
हाँ,
फैंटम के साथ
अच्छा.
ये सब होता रहा है. लाइक इवन अ लॉट ऑफ इंद्रजाल कॉमिक्स बैक इन द डे where the Indrajal was owned by Times of India, right? They
हाँ.
were
Hmm.
making up their
Hmm.
own stuff also.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Some of it was not
अच्छा.
Lee Falk stuff. After Lee Falk passed away, they wanted to continue publishing, and some of it was just they just made it up also.
Hmm.
Indian
Rahil,
comic history is full of people who have looked boldly into the eyes of the future and said, "What is copyright?"
Rahil, what's your day like? Like from morning to evening, do you draw all day, or what are you like? First of all, are
um,
you just an artist, or are you doing something else also?
Like
I'm
video
just an
editing,
artist,
perhaps.
man. Not at all.
Because most writers I know, right, they have
Mm-hmm.
other jobs, like they're computer programmers or they're working in a company somewhere, and at night or on the weekends they usually work as writers. But
Hmm. Hmm.
you are completely a comic book artist. You're nothing else
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. I mean, I
nice.
did lead a double life before. Like,
Correct,
I think
correct.
उस टाइम पे कॉर्पोरेट जॉब था मेरा for a couple of years, like some 5 years or something. एक
What?
प्रेसिडेंस एक प्राइम मिनिस्टरशिप मैंने देखा है from one prime minister to another at that
अच्छा.
job. And uh, that job I just did so I could like save up for marriage and shit. And then jab hogi marriage, then I just started taking comics seriously.
Hmm.
अच्छा.
Um,
Sufi comics came out around that time, is it?
Sufi comics came before that, much before that,
Oh,
like
okay.
11 years back.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
so 2012 was when I graduated, and that was when Sufi Comics were looking for an artist, and they got in touch with me. I mean, we mutually met, and then I made 3 graphic novels with them.
Okay.
उसके
Is Sufi
बाद I
comics still
started.
coming out, by the way? Is Sufi comics still coming out?
Yeah, I think they are. They
Oh,
did
okay.
come up with uh, a couple more books. I met them
Hmm.
last time at Comic Con.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
I
think they
remember
also
buying
have
some
an.
Sufi comics at the
Hmm.
first or the second Comic Con, but
Which
after
one?
that I haven't. I don't
Acha,
remember the books. Yeah, they're in there somewhere, but I don't remember
acha,
which
acha.
one. Yeah,
Acha, I meant which Comic Con?
the second one. The first
I
one
don't.
was in Delhi. The
Huh.
second one was in Delhi only.
Wasn't the
It took
first
them a
one in
few.
Bombay?
No, the first one was
You're
in
sure?
Delhi. Yes. This was when the Holy Cow had not started, and Vivek and I went to the Comic Con with just a poster.
Correct. I remember even long before Holy Cow started, I think
Hmm.
Comic Con was happening in Bombay also. I don't
Comic
remember
Con,
when.
I don't know. No Comic Con ever happened before Delhi. And Holy Cow, the first Comic Con, Holy Cow was not there. Second Comic Con, Holy Cow had launched, and we had one issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Rahul. Sorry for interrupting. Go on.
हो गया मेरा. But yeah, 3 graphic novels with Sufi Comics.
Ha.
Apart from that, uske baad, while I was doing the corporate job, I led another life where I started collaborating with different creators on their anthologies and stuff. It's like
Hmm.
very independent publishing houses like Hellcat Press and Tales from the Crypt. बहुत सारे वैसे क्या Swamp
Hmm.
Line and all that.
Wow, you work for Tales from the Crypt, is it?
I mean,
नहीं हुआ.
नहीं नाम उसका चेंज कर दिया उन्होंने बाद में.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
anyway,
Huh.
so I worked on a couple of those, and after those stories are all collected in an anthology called Blame It on Rahil.
Huh.
हाँ,
Correct.
और उस दौरान मैंने I collaborated with writers who had like long form stories, so I worked on 2 1 shots. One was Kiss Kiss Blam Blam, and the other one was The Big Sheep. And जब The Big Sheep रिलीज हुई उस टाइम पे ICF started. तब भी शुरू हुआ था
Right.
Indie Comics Fest in Bangalore. And
Correct.
this was like the best opportunity for me to print these books out because the writer Andre, it was just a self-funded project. So we
Right.
thought like क्यों ना try करें. And so we had some copies here, and that's how I started off with like just थोड़ा लोगों से मिला, confidence और बढ़ा in my skill and art and everything, and I decided to do this full time.
Hmm.
Okay.
So Ashwin was
Yeah.
asking what your day was like.
Oh my God, shit.
No, what you just answered was also an answer to a question. But
Yeah.
what is your day
हाँ,
like? We are really
oh my
interested now.
God. हाँ, days like early in the morning, I wake up, I make some food, थोड़ा exercise कर लेता हूँ, and then I work on whatever is there on for that day.
Hmm.
Uh, but I've learned a lot throughout the pandemic, and I've realized that I need to take breaks, so I don't
Yeah.
sit for long. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Even like the importance of taking a breaks is even more important for us, I think, because all our time is spent inside our heads. So
Mm,
when either work gets too much or something else gets too much, our ability to work itself gets affected. The first thing. So yeah, taking breaks is a great idea.
exactly. So yeah, I do that, and khana banao, and then dinner, and cleaning the kitchen and everything, feed the cat. That's it. That's just my day.
What's your cat's name?
Courage.
The cowardly
Courage the
dog.
coward.
हाँ.
बिल्लियों का कुत्तों पे हमला. नाम भी
मैं
छीन लिया.
लोगों को यही बोलता हूँ that he behaves like a dog a lot, which is why Courage the Cowardly. I mean, अभी
Cat.
Courage ही है नाम उसका. तो हाँ, मैं लोगों को बोलता हूँ that his software is that of a dog and hardware is that of a cat.
Forget.
So हाँ.
So, what kind of comics have you, grown up reading? Like, uh, what have you enjoyed reading? What have you maybe collected and then stopped collecting and stuff like that. But what have you read as a kid,
um,
not as an adult, but
हाँ, एज अ किड अमर चित्र का था टिंकल टिंकल का एक सब्सक्रिप्शन कराती थी अम्मी एंड यू नो एवरी मंथ और जब भी एग्जाम का पीरियड हो टाइम होता था लाइक शी यूज्ड टू लाइक हाइड इट अंडर द मैट्रेस और समथिंग थिंकिंग दैट शी वोंट
Yeah,
फाइंड
I
आई
know
वोंट
all
फाइंड
about that. Yeah.
तो टिंकल बहुत पढ़ता था मैं देन अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट दीज बाउंड कॉपीज वर लाइक यू नो दीज थिंग्स दैट वी यूज्ड टू कलेक्ट वंस अ मंथ लाइक माय डैड
correct?
एंड आई
Okay.
so, huh, just those. And apart from that, like I grew up on Doordarshan serials a lot. Like Bongo करके एक था, and then there was Junior G. Um,
हाँ.
uh,
Junior G came
um,
shortly after Shaktiman. Ashwin has no idea about Hindi superhero entertainment.
oh, अच्छा 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 अच्छा.
Yeah. He
So हाँ,
spent his entire first half of his life abroad, so all he knows is American entertainment.
Check us
oh
out.
man, you have to check all those out, man. These episodes are there on YouTube and stuff.
Huh.
So हाँ, Captain Vio, Mariaman,
Yeah.
all those things I grew up on. And because my mom was very strict, we just did not have cable TV. So whatever came on Doordarshan, जो भी कचरा आता था, we used to like take
Hmm.
it in. And once a week, weekend को मैं जब नाना नानी के घर जाता था, they had cable because grandkids तो बच्चे enjoy करेंगे. So और वहां से मैंने like I started taking a bit of वो Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon and like I grew up on that during the weekends and weekdays it was just Doordarshan
Hmm.
and DD Metro. So yeah, and reading was of course these books and sometimes my aunts used to gift me Archies for some reason. So I mean of course I used to enjoy them as a kid going through puberty. Huh. Apart
So
from that,
Rahil,
DC के वो collected comics I used to
Okay.
तो गॉथम कॉमिक्स का वो जो डबल साइज इशू आता था आई यूज्ड टू कलेक्ट अ लॉट ऑफ दोस मैंने आपका वो मार्केट प्लेस में भी देखा था अश्विन आई वाज
hmm
यू पुट ये सेलिंग थिंग ना यू प्लानिंग टू सेल सम
Ah,
बुक्स तो हाँ मैंने वो
correct.
ऐड देखा था तो
You
या
don't know
आई
that.
स्टिल हैव दोस तो हाँ यू वर सेइंग समथिंग विमो
I was saying when your mom hid tinkle issues from you, how good were you at finding them?
वेरी गुड
Yeah,
बिकॉज
I know, right? Because they're not very imaginative. I remember my mom did this also, and at a certain point of time in the month, I'll just walk up to the shelf, put my hand above, and out will come whatever she has hidden. There are like 4 places in the house where she used to hide, right?
there was only one place for my mother because I never got caught. Probably if she's listening to this, she just might. I mean, this is a revelation to her.
Find a new place now. Finding a new place now would be quite too late, I think.
Not at all. I have a different place now where I hide my books.
From your cat.
Yeah.
I suppose.
I don't. Have you been exposed to Indian comics? I know Vimo has. I have not, staying in Bombay. I don't know if you have, staying down south, come across any Hindi comics as such.
I did read a bit of Raj Comics when I was doing my internship at Bhasin Soft. It's an animation company.
Acha.
Mhm.
Okay.
There I started getting these opportunities to like work on comic strips and all और वो inspiration के लिए सारे राज कॉमिक्स के रखे थे and the person was from UP तो अपने बचपन के सारे कॉमिक्स घर पे वहाँ पे थे ऑफिस में and I read a few but
हाँ.
I mean वो connection लग जाता है ना because I used to watch Justice League and not Avengers just Justice League and X-Men
Hmm.
तो हाँ
Yeah.
like archetypes were the same everywhere.
And back like Basi, if you're talking about reading Raj comics as an adult, then you are talking about an entirely different era. What year would this be? Post 2000?
Yeah, 2009, 2010.
Quite recent.
Yeah. So that was a completely different era because sometime in the
Yeah.
beginning, in the first few years of 2000, they shifted to a very different art style. Before that, the art was quite like obviously there was no possibility of making anything using computer aided graphics. So the coloring, the artwork, it was all very like if you are in any mood to go back to Raj Comics at any point of time, I would recommend going back to the issues that they published in the 80s and 90s. The best time, I think.
Are you just being nostalgic?
I
Yeah,
think
I
so.
think so. Yeah. But Raj
You
Comics these days, what they're doing is that they're taking like three stories from the 80s and they're putting it in one volume and selling it. If you go, I don't know where you can buy Raj Comics, honestly, because the company is going
Hmm.
through some shit. But if you can get your hands on them, buy the old stuff.
do you read Hindi
Okay.
comics?
Not anymore, but अगर मिले तो पढ़ता हूँ.
Acha.
Actually, there was one Hindi comic that I bought recently.
हाँ,
It's Hindi and English. Lokesh Khotke की है by
अच्छा.
Blue Jackal. It's called Chudel.
हाँ.
Hmm.
I'll share the link with you. I think you might like it.
Blue
Hmm.
Jackal is in Bangalore only, right? They're Bangalore people.
Delhi.
Acha, they're Delhi. Okay.
हाँ हाँ.
Are there any comic book people you admire, like in the comic book field, people you like or look up to, or or have even talked to maybe?
हाँ. Um, Sumit Kumar. So,
Bakar naam
बड़ा fun बंदा है. I mean, I
Ah,
really
yeah.
like his vibe. Sumit is there. We have Abhijit Kini.
हाँ.
Hmm.
And मैं तडंग यादव, I really like तडंग यादव का work. It's amazing. I follow his work and I keep fangirling on his work. I'm fangirling, fanboying. I don't know what the term is, but yeah, I'm a
Fanning.
fan of his
Fanning
work.
is work.
Fanning, fanning his work. Apart from that, international comic writers, में I really like Craig Thompson's work. Um,
Okay.
Duct Nipple का work बहुत अच्छा है. I like that. And Scotty Young, of course.
I know about Scotty Young. I don't know about the other two. What have they worked
Oh,
on?
Duct Nipple, Ghost, Ghostopolis,
Gustav.
Tyrannosaurus, Tyranno, नहीं Tommy Rex.
हाँ.
बहुत टाइम हो
Okay.
गया पढ़ के. Newts and
अच्छा.
Invader Earthworm Jim करके गेम आता था 90s
हाँ,
में.
हाँ, हाँ. I remember
So
that.
he created that. He was one of the game developers. I think he created the whole thing, and then there was a Marvel series that came out, animated
Okay.
series. So, that's Duct Nipple. Skill
Yeah,
बहुत
that's
अच्छा है
And
उसका, like pen
Swarm
work.
Gym was a video
very
game
old
like
game.
that. Video
हाँ,
game or board game? What?
it
Yeah,
was a
the
it was
computer
a
game.
video game, computer game.
हाँ.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
We didn't have games where I come from. Okay,
Hey, this
you
was
अच्छा.
big
late.
city
Okay.
people and your games.
This is after the
Maybe
pandemic. Ah.
adulthood में I found about all these things.
Okay.
Thompson came out quite recently, like 15 years back, maybe, or 20 years at most. I don't think before that.
हाँ, 20 years back only. It was
Ah.
like Nintendo के graphics हैं उसके.
Acha. So
Oh,
15 years ago, I was in a village called Delhi. Okay, I didn't know about this.
oh, village
अच्छा.
called Delhi. What about comic books? Do you read comic books now, or are you past that stage where you can't read comic books anymore?
Like,
अभी
what are
And
your
what?
time
some?
मिल
What are
रहा
some
है.
of your contemporary favorites?
Huh.
I haven't read many now, honestly.
Thought so.
But Night Walkers करके वो एक book adaptation, graphic novel adaptation of an animated movie. So I just bought it, hoping
Huh.
that I'll read it someday, but I haven't gotten to it.
So you don't read
Um,
any comic books at all? Is that what you're saying?
हाँ, अभी तो time नहीं है यार. Like, because I'm working on something else now. I'm working on a series for a publishing house called Scout Comics.
Okay.
It's a 10 issue series, so I'm working as an artist on that. So
Okay.
that takes a lot of time, and apart from that, I've started working on something very personal to me. I'm going to launch comics in my native tongue, Dakhni, and it's going to be online. I mean, we've been working on it for quite
Hmm.
some time now,
That's
and
very
we've
cool, man.
finally figured out. Thanks, man. So I figured out some kind of a schedule that works for us, and I just hope, like, we are able to launch it like the way we've planned it to.
Is
So,
this just what is your native tongue called?
Dakhni.
The,
It's like
Deccan.
Hyderabadi Urdu,
Hmm.
but हाँ, यहाँ पे उसको ऑटो ड्राइवर उर्दू बहुत बोलते हैं, लाइक दे कॉल इट ऑटो ड्राइवर उर्दू. हाँ.
okay. Are you planning to publish it in English also? कि नहीं?
हाँ, या
अच्छा.
अभी तो प्लान, आई मीन प्रिंटिंग के लिए लाइक बहुत पैसा लगता है यार, तो आई एम जस्ट थिंकिंग फॉर नाउ आई एम गोना लाइक पुट स्टफ ऑनलाइन
हाँ.
There are going to be like motion comics जहाँ पे like हर एक panel में कुछ हो रहा है, and but then it's also accessible on platforms like Instagram and Facebook
Okay.
and what
So you're talking about when you say you're going to put it online, you're talking about a separate website for it.
later. Yeah,
Okay. So
website के
what
लिए.
will be the first format you put it out as?
It's
Just
going to be in the form of either reels or it's going to be a carousel of videos on Instagram.
okay. So Instagram is the platform you're choosing to put it out on.
Yeah, for now, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Have you like? I was wondering if there's any market research on this.
No,
Like
we haven't done any
it is
market
very
research.
clear that print comics are like people with nostalgia will want to have print comics, but it is
Hmm.
very clear that comics have a better chance of finding new audiences if they are put out on Instagram. So you're right to do so, obviously. But I
Hmm.
was wondering if there's any market research to support this because I don't have any data on it.
Yeah, there's been a slow resurgence in the whole Dakhini scene right now, at least in local Karnataka, like mostly Urdu speaking people, Dakhini Urdu speaking people. Abhi, like there's a lot of rap scene that's been building up
Oh,
in a
nice.
lot.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I mean, the local dialect. I mean, like I say that I've grown up watching Doordarshan. Like that's a completely different culture and a completely different language. Like something that I had to learn by watching it.
Hmm.
There was no content for people speaking Dakhini, and अभी जो content अभी मिल रहा है on WhatsApp and all that, it's quite problematic also. So
Hmm.
I just felt like something that is kid friendly, that people can access without really like worrying about what kind of values they are taking away from something like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm, hmm. Yeah.
So I just thought कुछ अच्छा करना चाहिए तो
Can you tell
yeah.
us anything about the content, the kind of story that you're putting out in these comics? Is it superhero story, just a common everyday story?
For now, this is just going to be slice of life,
Okay. Okay.
and because I think that I write drama very well because I
Hmm.
grew up on Doordarshan. So I think slice of life is for now.
I had no idea Doordarshan was teaching people how to write drama.
Slice of life.
All I learned from it was that sad, sad opening theme music.
I watched Star Trek on Doordarshan. What are you talking about?
What?
Yeah, this was years
What?
ago.
Yeah.
Captain View? Nahi.
Star Trek, proper Star
So
Trek. It
Acha.
Ashwin,
started
so
Captain
just so
Kirk.
you understand, Captain Vyom is like Star Trek, Aryaman is like Star Wars, and Shaktiman is like Superman.
And I watched Star Trek, not anything else.
Ashwin is
To Hindi dub.
Huh? No,
no, no,
English
no,
में.
no, no. Back then,
English में.
Oh.
they showed Star Trek.
Sunday
Doordarshan
morning.
showed the original Star Trek series when things were black and white.
हाँ,
Oh, अच्छा.
correct.
Yeah,
मेरे
yeah.
पैदा होने से पहले.
Really, really back in the day. But Rahil, are
Mhm.
you a Star Trek fan of any variety?
Star Trek,
No.
Star Wars, any of
A
Oh,
them.
friend
okay.
of mine, I mean, I just didn't get the time to watch. A friend of mine
Mm-hmm.
has been like telling me to watch it for a very long time. I watched a couple of episodes in the beginning, the first two episodes.
Hmm.
It's too much of an investment. Because
Yeah,
I
it
just
is.
want to
It
watch
is.
like 15
Yeah.
second reels every time.
So Star Trek, in case you need even more, need to be even more demotivated, is more than 700 hours of TV serials and about 10 movies.
Oh man. I did watch your video on Star Trek.
Which one?
बहुत पहले आया था वो.
Um, बहुत
काफी
पहले,
पहले.
like yeah, that was like my comfort video during the 2021 में. Like I used to just listen about how people would fight a certain race in one season, and then in the next season there is
Oh yeah, he's
inclusivity
talking
where
about my
people.
podcast. Ashwin,
Yeah,
stop
yeah, I'm
हाँ,
nodding.
talking
He's
about
talking
your
about my
podcast.
podcast.
I
हाँ,
figured.
Vimo का
I
podcast.
thought you were talking
Yeah,
about the episode on this channel.
halfway it's after he started talking, I figured it was your podcast.
इसके बाद मैं देखूंगा अश्विन, promise.
नहीं, नहीं. I don't think we've talked about Star Trek specifically.
We haven't? I think we have, right?
No,
No,
we
no,
talked
not
about
specifically. Maybe
comics.
not. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
How do you draw, Rahil? Do you draw with so you've been one of those people who started before the digital revolution came along and who've kind of transitioned into the digital revolution also. So I'm assuming you started off with pen and paper and then moved on to like digital art as such. I'm right to assume that, or what? How did it
No,
go?
dude. I mean, I just started with pen and paper only because I didn't have a Wacom tablet
Ha,
with me.
correct, correct.
But the first book was on with pen and paper.
Pen and paper.
Then I invested in a bamboo.
Huh.
Digital art is much better according to me because मेरे लिए it's convenient, it's
Huh.
faster.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. It's faster in terms of just drawing, or in terms of just the process you take after you scan the thing and put it on paper and then make edits and all. How is it
Uh,
faster?
Abhi everything is on a tablet.
Correct.
So right now I just draw everything like from the thumbnails, from the scratch to the final
Hmm.
product is on a tablet. But
Okay.
before, when I did start off with a pen, it was quite a hassle for me. So,
Rahil, in what way is it better? In what way is digital art better? Like, I know the answer that I have gotten from other artists, but since I do want to take this towards AI art at some point, in what
hmm.
way is a digital pen tablet better than pen and paper?
For me, it's the storage. Like physical storage space बहुत कम है घर में. So
That's true.
that is
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
And also the convenience of not like going and getting all our resources and scans and all that. Like we have a
Hmm.
scanner,
Hmm.
but you
Hmm.
know now it's just for
Yeah, a scanner
documents.
would probably solve the storage space problem, right?
You'd still
If
have
you
paper,
drew on
right?
pen and paper and you scanned everything and you stored it digitally, that still solves the storage problem.
हाँ,
Still kind
but कल का दिन अगर मेरा नाम बड़ा हो, I mean it
Hmm.
would be easier for me to sell some sketches, no?
of art.
Ah,
हाँ,
okay.
hard
Do you
copies.
do you have physical art with you anywhere in your house?
नहीं है यार, मैं बस मजाक कर रहा था.
Hey, well, by the way, I wanted to ask you, and since like multiple Comic Cons have just happened, were you at the last Comic Con, Rahil?
No, as a visitor.
Okay. When was the last time you were at a Comic Con as a seller?
Before
Before
the
the
pandemic?
pandemic? Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you were with Sophie Comics?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, so who were you there with as
With my
Rahil.
wife and as Rahel.
Okay. So and you were
He
selling
had a
your own stuff.
Rahil. He had a Rahil stand over there, from what I remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, what are your views about Comic Con in general, and how easy it has become for an independent creator to start a stall? And does it really, like, in what ways does it benefit you?
It's mostly for the social media following, and also I do make good sales there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that depends on the kind of marketing that you do
Hmm.
uh, online and stuff. Like
Yeah,
me, as
yeah,
personally as an artist as well. Like I need to like get people hyped up to come
yeah.
over to Comic Con and buy it.
Hmm.
So I also find new people, like new consumers to interact with, and it's fine. One issue that I did feel was that I was a little too optimistic about the print run, so I printed like 1,000 copies in one shot.
Yeah,
मतलब
that
दिमाग नहीं
happens.
था ना उस टाइम पे,
Yeah.
तो it's
Th-
still
This is
there.
another this is another
Uh,
problem with the print method, I think. Like,
hmm.
with digital, you this is not even something you have to think about. You make something, you put it up, जिसको देखना देखेगा. Print में you have to
Hmm.
wonder how many people will actually want to possess a copy that they can hold in their hand. And we did that with Ravanan also. Like, there were print runs of certain issues that were so big that later we had to think, "ये थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो गया."
But
Our
like, if
feelings.
you compare print and if you compare digital, right? There's no way to actually make money with digital versus print. You can at least sell your product. Like you can go and
Hmm.
say, "Hey, 50 रुपए में ले लो."
No, I think
50
print
हाँ.
is doubly important for someone like Rahil. Like, for example, DC Marvel एक साल अगर कॉमिक कॉन पे बूथ नहीं करेंगे तो उनका कुछ बड़ा लॉस नहीं होगा.
नहीं.
But for
Hmm.
someone like Rahil, even someone like you, Ashwin, if you ever decide to open a stall of your own, then the benefit is that you make something and you are selling digital copies online. But the one of the reasons people choose to continue to be associated with the brand is if they have a physical connect with them. So Comic Con becomes a nice place for people to come and actually meet you, talk to you, hold your hand, and rub your back and other things.
Mhm.
Get an autograph.
Yeah, that also. Yeah, but rubbing
Hmm.
your back mostly.
Of course.
I don't know that reference, but okay.
I don't either, but I'm not very comfortable with it.
Yeah, कुछ अजीब फील हुआ ना.
Rahil,
Yes.
when I think of your art, right, or even the stories that you put out, they're very optimistic. They're nice stories that you can go to your family and say, "Hey, look, read this. It's nice." And I know some of the stuff that you're doing now is you don't talk about this much, but I think a lot of your stuff is political. From what I know, you're doing political stuff. You're getting into the political environment. You're drawing stuff that is sort of political. And I only know this because you talked to me about it and you said, "Oh, I have these comics up called From, and they're about
Huh.
this stuff and all." So, so my question to you is, primarily you're a optimistic cartoonist who does optimistic stuff. Are you in general, in your nature, are you optimistic, or are you pessimistic, or are you someone who's very unhappy and you draw and make people laugh and you kind of derive something from that? What goes on around you? What's your scene like?
Dude, honestly speaking, I'm
Huh.
extremely pessimistic. Very, 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 very
And
pessimistic.
that is
But
why you
then,
feel like you have to be optimistic.
Huh.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what. But political comics was
Huh.
during a time, वो pandemic के time पे when I was work, you know, consuming a lot of news. अभी वेला पढ़ा था, and then I was just so that's how From came. But then after the move and everything, I just feel like I need to get back and spread more optimism, which is why I'm restricting all of my political stories only to my IG stories, and not try to get it into my work anymore.
Okay, okay.
So
Yeah.
this is actually deeply interesting to me because it's something I also went through. Uh, do you feel that you should like when you're making comics that have to do with contemporary politics or society? It's a good thing, right? Because not many artists actually do it. I personally find it quite worrisome that artists think नहीं मैं तो artist हूँ मैं politics में क्यों घुसूं? Because
Hmm.
I think a very important part of being an artist is to be political. So when you make at least politically relevant entertainment, and then
Hmm.
you decide to pull out of it because of either your mental health or something else, do you feel guilty?
No, I don't, because I
Okay.
know that something like Fromp was very direct and
Hmm.
political, but I know that the politics that I believe in will show a little bit of itself in whatever I'm
Yeah.
working on right now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's based on an identity itself,
Hmm.
a language that hasn't had any form of text
Hmm.
for many, many years.
Hmm.
So, I think politics will come in the way that I have some control over it, and not just like puking things out in the
Yeah.
form of
Yeah.
comic strips.
There is one of my favorite anecdotes about writing was there's this writer called Theodore Sturgeon, who's a science fiction writer, and somebody went to him and said he said that I don't have a message. I can write, I know how to write, but I don't know what message should my writing contain. And Theodore Sturgeon told him just write, it'll come out. If something is an integral part of you, even if you write a cookbook, it will come out. So I think that holds
Hmm.
true.
What
Ashwin
are
is
you
thinking
most?
this was supposed to be a comic book podcast.
I know. I asked a question about politics, so it's fine. I asked a question about.
Yeah, you brought this upon yourself and gutter space.
Well, what are you most excited about when you're drawing stuff? Like the whole process. What part are you most excited about? Are you excited about the conception? Are you excited about the execution? Are you excited after you've done all the hard work and you look at what you've done?
The output,
Right.
Yeah.
everything else from the thinking to the drawing to everything is just one struggle, and the only thing that keeps me going is the output. That's
Yeah.
it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like, someone said once that I'm the anecdote guy. Someone said once that hey, do you like writing? And the writer replied, no, I like having written. Process is torture. No, but
Yeah.
this actually leads me to the AI question that I promised some time ago. Rahil, since you said that the process is torture and what you really look forward to is the output, would
Hmm.
you trade places with someone who just types prompts into the generator? Like, if you look at AI art that way, it's not much work, but it gives you an output that may be compared to the finished product of a lot of artists' hard work.
Hmm.
So you're an artist. If I said, hey, you don't like the process of creating art, but you like the art that comes out of it, would you say that yes, the AI art generation thing that is happening right now is something good, and that I would prefer it over normal art making?
Preference तो I mean अभी convenience के हिसाब से I have changed from traditional art to digital art, which was still
Hmm.
frowned upon for quite some time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Still is,
If
by the way. Some people still
still
frown at
is.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of purists out there.
Hmm.
So we will find purists everywhere. अभी
Hmm.
अगर I mean I haven't really thought so much about AI, but I do see, because I've worked with a lot of independent creators, I've seen how much most of these writers come from different walks of life,
Hmm.
and they're not able to pay the artists and all that. For someone like that, it's really convenient. It's easier for them to save some money in the generating some income for an artist.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, I mean it's more convenient for them, but for an artist to, I don't know, move to I don't know if an art, like something that makes the artist unique, that
Yeah.
whole idea of them creating will still like make them an artist in that way, because like I it's very
It's
weird
okay
for
to
me
not have
to
an answer about this. This is so new that we're all kind of dealing with it. I
uh,
only pointed this out because I don't think most artists are serious when they say they don't like the process. Like
huh.
it's like I don't like cycling, but I understand why it is good for me. वैसे
But it's
when
a
you as an
struggle,
artist,
dude.
it is, but you like
Huh.
it, despite the fact that you think that you don't like it. Because if I took it
Hmm.
away, you will find your being as an artist compromised somehow.
Maybe it's that after you've created something, right? It's something that you have created. The
Hmm.
process might be tiring, it might be draining, it you might not like the process as such.
Hmm.
But what you get at the end of it, right, it's something that
Hmm.
you have created. Whether you like
Hmm.
the process or not, it's something that you have created, and you're like, I'm proud of this, I'm glad I put in all that hours of bad hours that
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
put
yeah.
in, and I've made something that's this nice. So maybe it's
Because
that.
I'll tell you something. By the way, can I share my screen and show you something?
Huh.
I would like to
Hmm.
know what you guys think of what I'm thinking. I wrote a story about a dystopian future where something happens, right? It's called Antim Sakshi. I put it on my Hindi podcast some time ago. And this is a depiction of one of its scenes, right? I created this using artificial intelligence. And the thing that, for the first thing I thought was, I don't deserve this, right? Because I did not put into it the kind of hard work that someone like Rahil might put into it for days, like color it, paint it, and
Correct.
prepare it, compose it, and everything. I typed, it took me 20 minutes to make, but it's not the kind of effort that an artist might put into it. It is still a product of my imagination, it is still based on something I wrote. My question is, Rahil, if you had painted this yourself, as opposed to if you had generated this using artificial intelligence, would you feel two different things about it? Should I feel two
No,
different things about it?
I mean, if you're feeling two different things about it, then probably because you know that you know artists personally and the kind of
Hmm.
effort that goes into
Maybe.
it. But there are a lot of people who have never interacted with an artist. They would
Hmm.
feel a sense of entitlement to something like this.
Hmm.
कि
Oh
हाँ ये
yeah.
मैंने बनाया है, मैं राइटर हूँ, मैंने वर्ड्स टाइप किया और मैंने पिक्चर बनाई है, तो हाँ.
Hmm. Maybe. Maybe you're right. But I think that what I'm struggling with that is that I do feel some kind of entitlement about it. What I'm struggling with is, am I right to do so? Anyway,
Hmm.
Ashwin, you can remove
Wow.
this from the screen.
Yeah.
Sorry if
That's
I threw
some.
people into the deep end with my questions about artificial intelligence. It's all I've been thinking about the entire week.
Hmm.
Because I've been trying some like high end things, and I can say with supreme confidence that in 2 years' time, an individual will be making a full blown animated movie with no help
Hmm.
from anywhere else, no voice actors, no uh, Even music might be created by AI.
Rahil, you don't seem to be against AI as much as I would have expected you to be. I mean, you're an
Yeah,
artist,
actually.
so
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've also seen people on the other side struggling to find artists, and
That's true.
artists kind of
Yeah.
like, cutting all their costs just to get a project. Like,
Hmm.
correct.
हाँ पैसा बचा रहा हूँ writers का. I mean, it's okay. I mean, there's always been some improvement or the other in a lot of aspects. I think we just have to adapt, I guess.
Hmm.
कि हाँ पता होना चाहिए कि हाँ AI है, but मेरे पास मेरा आर्ट भी है, तो it's like that.
मुझे लगता है कि it's like if there's a tea shop at the end of the street and they're making tea with like by their hand, they're like lighting a stove and they're adding sugar by hand, etc. And I have a tea making machine at home. I am not taking work away from someone if I use my machine to make tea for myself, right?
Hmm.
But if I open a shop next to theirs and I start making tea and selling it, then I'm affecting their business.
Yeah.
So AI के खिलाफ एक blanket way से AI के खिलाफ होना, it doesn't make sense. But it is a more nuanced conversation than that. I think that,
Right.
like for example, if we have a publisher, like Ashwin and I have a publisher, his problem is that he can't find writers. In a couple of years, he might be writing entire scripts using ChatGPT. He'll feed a story idea, which he already has, and ChatGPT will give him a script, and then he can draw and put out a comic. He can maybe get someone to edit it a little bit, but he won't need us.
Hmm.
Now, I can look at it as, oh my God, they don't need us anymore. Or I can look at it, thankfully, I don't have to do that work now. I can focus on my work, which is based on my ideas. And जैसे मेरे publisher का वो जो gap है, writing वाला gap, जो कि chat GPT fill in कर रहा है, मेरे लिए जो artist gap है, वो AI आर्ट फिल कर देगा. वो अपनी चीज़ें बनाएगा मज़े से, मैं अपनी चीज़ें बनाऊँगा मज़े से. कोलैबोरेशन विल गो डाउन. अ लॉट ऑफ
Hmm.
अ लॉट ऑफ हार्टबर्न दैट कम्स एज़ अ रिजल्ट ऑफ, "ए तूने मेरा स्क्रिप्ट नहीं दिया अब तक." वो कम हो जाएगा मुझे लगता है. बट या वी कैन मूव फॉरवर्ड अश्विन इफ यू वांट टू. सॉरी आई ड्रैग्ड दिस इनटू एआई.
Rahil, what is
Hmm.
your relationship with your writers? Like, are they completely hands off once they give you the script, or once you give them the thumbnails, they're like, change this, change that. I don't like this, make this change, or this is nice, make it something better. How would you define or talk about your relationship with your writers?
So far, I've been blessed to work with like really good patient writers. Um, they do give me changes, but
Huh.
हाँ वो thumbnail के time पे they get the changes made, and then even till the final output is out, there are still changes. But then I mean, it's just part of the process.
Okay.
हाँ.
Hmm.
There were a couple of writers, so the ones with whom I'm getting published with Scout Comics, Matt Knowles and Steph Cannon. We are working on a comic series called Misfits Clubhouse, and this came during the pandemic, and I was going through the worst time possible, to the point where they kept changing the date, the
Wow.
deadline for me, and like the whole project, which was only like 25, 26, 28 pages. It took me a year to finish all of that, like because of my
Wow.
bad mental health. तो इतने understanding लोग से मैं काम करता हूँ, तो it's
Hmm.
I think I'm quite blessed for that.
That's very
Nice.
cool.
Yeah. I mean, 1 year is a long time for you to finish a 24 page comic. 28, that's really nice.
28, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nice, man. Is there stuff you don't like drawing? Anything that you don't
Oh,
like at all?
shit. I have something in common with AI. Hands का problem है बहुत.
Ooh. But
Hands
you
are
can draw
weird, man.
feet.
Hands are weird.
No feet also. वो भी problem है थोड़ा.
Correct.
So
It's quite
basically,
a
draw
struggle.
people who are standing in water with their hands in their pockets.
हाँ बस इतना ही.
That's
AI को
nice.
तो आँख से भी प्रॉब्लम है.
हाँ क्या? अच्छा अच्छा. I can draw eyes
So
properly.
basically, people who
Touch
are
wood.
standing in water with their hands in their pockets and wearing sunglasses.
Just how do you think art affects society? Like, I know you're making stuff for kids and doing stuff that will make them happy. But overall, how do you think art affects society in a way that it might bring about some kind of change, even if it's a
हाँ तो
micro microscopic kind of change, that's still a change. So how do you think art affects us?
Um, I mean, this is coming from my limited experience. So,
Correct.
jo art that I work on is for kids. But
Right.
then, when you still have a bit of a responsibility, like a lot of responsibility, because you're entertaining kids without, like, putting in the wrong messages and everything like
Correct.
that. So, I grew up on, I didn't grow up watching Superman, but I watched Shaktiman. And
Uh-huh.
तो उसके साथ, like, while growing up, like, the kind of misogyny kind of also, like, built into me up to a point, until, like, social media aa gaya, and then, like, people started unlearning a lot of toxic things that they
Hmm.
built up from the young
Correct.
age. So, I mean, if media, the shows that we grow up on is considered as art, or the comics that we grew up on are considered as art, then it has kind of, like, formed us into the individuals that we are today, and with a lot of things that, that could be problematic now, and all that. So I think art, like, it's a huge, it's very very important, and it needs to be taken. I mean, presented in a very responsible way, irrespective of what your target audience is.
Hmm.
Okay. I
Hmm.
so the only stuff I know you've worked on is, like, you talked about a bunch of stuff like Misfits Club and a couple of other things. But what is the stuff that has come out in India, and what is the stuff that has not come out in India?
Sufi comics came out in India, and then there's
Right.
the Big Sheep, Kiss Kiss Blam Blam, Blame It on Rahil. My anthology came out in India. There's Supermom, Cat Dad, and Supermom.
Correct. Correct.
That and Misfits is the only one that hasn't been. I mean,
Released.
we haven't brought it to India yet. We released it, but the first issue is out. The second issue's Kickstarter is going on right now. That I have a lot of mental health comics that I was working on during the pandemic, in collaboration with DLC. Uh, it's a life coaching page on Instagram. So I collaborated with them, and I have a lot of mental health comics on that. And then I had a series called Very Very Badly Drawn Comics that I just didn't get the money to print. Hopefully, I'll print that later.
Right.
So that, and right now the Dakni comics that I'm working on. So yeah, there's a lot of things that people haven't seen yet, or probably at
Hmm.
least read on Instagram.
Correct. Nice. What inspired you to draw? Like, what made you sit down and draw? Like, have you been drawing since your childhood, or was it something that you intentionally switched to once you grew up? Or...
The need for acknowledgement. Like, when I grew up, छोटा सा था, I just needed attention from my mother, and I drew an apple, and then she was like, नहीं नहीं बेटा, ऐसे नहीं draw करते, ऐसे draw करते, करके वो दिखाई, and then I was like, हाँ माँ, like, maybe I'll draw more, and then people will pay more attention to me. I think that's why I started drawing.
ये मेरे
That's the
साथ भी हुआ
most
था.
honest I can get.
Yeah, actually.
ये मेरे साथ भी हुआ था. Unfortunately, the experience was slightly different. I drew an apple. I show it to my mom, and she says, "What a nice helicopter!" And I was like, मैं artist नहीं बनने वाला." But maybe it was the other way around. I made a helicopter, and she said, "What a nice apple."
अपन लोग को ना पिक्शनरी खेलनी चाहिए एक बार.
क्या?
पिक्शनरी,
अच्छा, वो क्या होता है?
like
Pictionary, I know the
drawing
game
वाला
of
dumb
that.
charades.
हाँ.
Drawing on a dump charades.
No,
Correct.
I'm slightly better at it now. And I made the fortunate decision to get into a profession where I have to work with artists all the time. So I can always get someone else to make stuff for me. By the way, funny thing happened. I needed a character art thing drawn. I approached an artist, and he said, AI se karwa lo.
Oh my god, ये reverse होनो कार्ड हो गया.
I was like, नहीं, मैं रियल आर्टिस्ट को रेलेवेंस दूंगा, मतलब
पैसा
एक्सपोजर
दूंगा.
दूंगा. And he was like, AI से करा लो.
Wow.
Oh.
Which leads me to suspect, अगर मैं उसको पैसे दिए होते तो शायद वो भी ऐसे करा के मुझे दे देता.
That's smart. I actually have a question for Ashwin. Like, हाँ, क्यों नहीं यार? Anyway, you've written so much. Like, how do you even find the time to come up with so many ideas?
I haven't written anything at all.
वो कोई
He's the
तुमको आइडिया
laziest
देता है क्या?
writer. He's the
Huh?
laziest writer I've ever known.
Actually,
बट तुम्हारा
no.
काम मैंने स्वयंभू में देखा. यू वर्क विद होली काउ एंड और कौन?
Bullseye Press mein, huh?
बुलसाई, यस.
Yeah.
So, but you
So
have been consistently writing, right?
Ashwin, this is the opportunity you should make use of to say that you wake up at 5 a.m. and you write all day.
हाँ, मैं हर दिन सुबह उठता हूँ 5 बजे, रात को 11 बजे सोता हूँ मैं. कुछ टाइम ही नहीं मिलता है और कुछ करने को. No, no,
Oh.
no. So I've been writing for the past 7, 8 years, 9 years maybe, I think, and I've hardly
And,
written anything.
and he's hardly done 1 week's worth of work.
Actually. So the point is, a comic book script is very small, right? You think it's big because there are so many pages involved, but
Yeah.
when you actually sit down and look at it, right, it's a very short piece of work. A comic isn't something that's huge and it takes time. Writing a novel is difficult. I've been trying to sit down and write a novel, and I've written about 1/4 a novel maybe in all these
Hmm.
years. So it's more difficult to write a novel than to write a comic book script, because comic book scripts are shorter. The amount of time that it takes you to write a 30-page comic is hardly anything. It should not take you that long. I'm saying it should not take you that long. It took me months to finish one 30-page comic. But the point is that, yeah, it's not that difficult.
Also, there is a lot less pressure with respect to a comic book script, because nobody is actually going to read the comic book script except the artist. With a
Actually,
novel, you
yeah.
have to pay attention to every word, because that is what people will be reading, right? यहाँ पे you can send a script to an artist and then go to sleep, and the rest is their work. They get to
Yeah.
color it, they get to everything, and the editor takes care of the rest.
Yeah. So technically, a writer's work is very easy compared to the other people involved in the process.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's how I write.
I just find it heavily amusing that Rahil actually thought that Ashwin writes a lot.
नहीं, I
Rahil, did you
kept-
ask that question satirically, sarcastically पूछा था क्या?
Not at all, not at all. I'm very honest.
No.
This is
I
not
don't write.
sarcasm.
Okay.
Honestly speaking,
Why did you stop? Huh?
I just started writing this year. I haven't started before this year at all. Like the past 2 or 3 months, when I've started focusing and writing like proper 3 hours a day at least minimum.
Hmm.
पर उसके पहले उतना नहीं था मेरा.
अच्छा.
I wrote good stories, but they weren't really time consuming. What were you saying?
Did you have a full-time job by any chance?
For the past
Like-
7 or 8 years, no, nothing. Nothing.
Oh,
He has
awesome.
had jobs on and off, but right now he's a full-time writer, I think.
For the past 7 years, nothing. Like
He's
I
a
had a
full-time-
job for 3 months.
He's a full-time dad and a part-time writer.
I'm not even a full-time dad. The kids
You
never
are.
come.
You just refuse to acknowledge it.
Do you have a cat too?
I don't have a cat. I don't have
Acha,
dogs.
okay.
I don't think
He
they
can't have-
allow animals in our building. We
Oh,
would have
okay.
kept one, but I don't think they allow.
Hmm.
I see.
I would have loved to have a dog. I like dogs. But you don't like
Spend
dogs.
some time with courage. No, dude, I like dogs. ये क्या है? Like, I mean, I like dogs, but I just want them to be there, like in their own place. घर पे नहीं.
Back in the dog dimension.
हाँ. And Vimo, I know that you started off as a comic book writer, but why? What made you like stop and pursue other things? I mean, are you doing anything else apart from writing? Are you writing something else like a
I
long
don't
form
think he
novel?
was a
or something?
comic book writer before also. Like he
But
was a
रावणायन
writer.
किसने लिखी?
हाँ, उसके पहले भी वो writer था.
AI ने लिखी. AI has become so advanced that it actually travels back in time and creates writes the stories I am accused of having written. See, I honestly, one of the reasons was money, because you can't sustain yourself just by being a comic book writer. So I decided to, like, मेरा पता है क्या है? If I see something cool that someone is doing, मेरे मन में ये नहीं आता कि अरे वाह क्या मस्त काम है. मेरे मन में आता है वो कर सकता है तो मैं क्यों नहीं कर सकता. So I started a YouTube channel, I started a podcast. I have 3-4 YouTube channels now, And my process has always been ki I'll try 10 things. If 2 work, wonderful, I'll build on them. And while those 2 are getting built up, I'll try 9 more things. So I'm
Hmm.
constantly throwing myself all over the place. Right now, I'm in the media, content creation, podcasting, live streaming space. But if the metaverse becomes huge tomorrow, you can rest assured that I'll be wandering in a digital avatar in there also. जब तक बाकी
Hmm.
लोग आएंगे, मैं वहाँ पे ऑलरेडी 5 साल बिता चुका हूँगा. So that is my
Wow.
approach. So कॉमिक बुक से खुद को सस्टेन करना मुश्किल हो गया. दूसरी बात ये थी कि I want to write my own stories. When someone else says कि hey, develop this idea, I get frustrated very soon. So even
Hmm.
right
Hmm.
now, I'm not opposed to writing a comic book, but I want to write my own story, and if someone will publish it, then great. That is why.
I see.
और कोई कारण नहीं था. I like
Will this be
comics.
drawn by AI?
Quite possibly. Yeah.
Hmm.
It will probably like if I can like my artist friend who told me AI से करवा लो, if he doesn't say yes, then I may very well come to a place where I write a story, I uh, you know, plan it out, and I get the art done by AI. I get a commercial license. I put it together, and I approach a publisher saying, "Hey, I have the whole thing. Will you publish it?" If they don't,
Hmm.
then I'll
It's,
put it out as a web comic. If that doesn't happen, I'll do something else with it. Because I'm pretty
hmm.
sure in 2 years' time, a lot more is going to be possible. I'm pretty sure in 2 years' time, in at Comic Con, you'll be seeing booths by people who started being a creator because of AI, because otherwise it was not possible for them. Someone who's just a
Hmm.
writer, उसके दिमाग में आता है इसके ऊपर मस्त पिक्चर बनेगी पर मेरे पास कुछ भी रिसोर्सेस नहीं है. पिक्चर बनाना बहुत दूर की बात है. They'll be starting YouTube channels and putting up animated films made just by themselves.
Hmm.
The world is going to change completely because of this. It's very
Yeah.
scary and also very exciting.
That way also the need for production will increase, like in a way, like if you're supposed to make a book with AI, it will
Hmm.
take far less time for you to get the output when in comparison with if you're working with an actual human being.
Hmm.
So that will put an extra pressure on the artists also, right?
हाँ,
Crazy.
but
Later on.
उससे क्या होता है पता है? जैसे कि the internet happened, right? So
Hmm.
now there are when the internet happened, the people who were afraid were people who had already built a business that was not based on the internet, right? But what
Hmm.
happened as a result of the internet coming? A new kind of creation started happening. An individual with a camera pointed at their own face became a new genre altogether. Now there are creators who are more famous than actual full-fledged news channels. There are
Hmm. Hmm.
individuals who are putting out news bulletins every day and getting more views than CNN, right? So the thing that I'm most interested in finding out is how the entire ecosystem changes because of it. What are the new content formats we are going to look at? Because I can totally imagine tomorrow someone coming on stage and making up a story then and there and presenting it as an animation, like live animation coming from their head using AI.
Hmm.
Not tomorrow. This won't happen in 2 years. It might take 10. But that is the future we are looking at. The kind of things that are out there. Before the internet, it was what? It was a TV show, a film, and a book.
Hmm.
What are the new formats that are before us? I don't know. And it's very exciting to discover. And I want to be on that train when it takes off. I mean, when it leaves station.
Hmm.
Ashwin has been
Yeah,
so blown away that Ashwin wasn't listening to anything.
yeah. I wasn't paying attention to you at all.
He never pays attention to me until it's too late.
I wanted to ask you if any of the stuff that you've created, right, are they owned by you, or are they owned by co-owned by somebody else, or
Hmm.
what's the
Uh,
scene?
Most of the work is co-owned.
Okay,
उसमें से थोड़ा जो percentage है, those are just my commissioned works.
okay, okay.
So it's just that because I got to work with independent creators, they were happy enough to, like, share
Correct.
the ownership of work.
Okay,
Otherwise, the things that are published by publishers are not owned by me. These are
okay.
just artist projects.
Right, right. And are you
Yeah.
planning to put any more from comics out, or are you done with that?
यार अभी टाइम नहीं है उसके लिए. And I'm tired of drawing animals. Like there was one whole phase
Ah,
where I was just drawing anthropomorphic animals,
correct.
characters, and now it's just humans now.
इंसानियत की ओर.
All right. Thank you for joining us for this episode. It's been a nice talk. Um, I hope Rahul will join us again if we ever do this again. But
Rahul, where can people find you on social media?
yes,
Rahil underscore Mohsin on Instagram. I mean, I'm active on Instagram most of the time. So yeah.
right. Okay. That's it for this episode, guys. Thank you. Bye bye.
Yep. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye.